Welcome to the CSIS 113 case study project. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I'm Neville Wright, and I will show you how to configure Secure Shell on your router.
And I'm Gak. I'm going to show you the importance of using SSH over telnet using wireshark.
In this part of our presentation, we will be connecting PCA to router 1 via the Gigabit 00 interface, as well as a console line. My friend Novell here is now going to show us how to enable telnet and SSH.
Thanks, Dan. Hello, my name is Neville, and today I'm going to show you how to configure SSH on a router. SSH allows an administrator to remotely access their device. Today we're going to access a Cisco router. The first thing we need to do to SSH to our router is to assign it an IP address. So let's do that. We go Enable, go to Global Configuration Mode. We go to the interface we're wanting, interface G0/0 is the interface and we're SSHing to. Then we put in the IP address. (192.168.16.1), and we need a subnet mask 255.255.255.0. And then we also want to make sure we bring this interface up. So we do a no shut or no shutdown. And next, we need to create a host name. It will not let us generate our RSA key pair without a host name. So let's do that. Let's exit out of the interface mode, go into global configuration, type in host name, and we're going to call our router R1. Next, we're going to create a domain name. We cannot generate our RSA key pair without a domain name. So we go into global configuration mode, we type in IP domain name, and we're going to call our domain name cisco.com. Now we are ready to generate our RSA keys. So what we need to do is go into global configuration mode, which we're already at. Then we type in crypto key generate RSA. Enter. Now it's asking for modulus. I'm going to use 1024. That's 1024 bits for our key. It's generating it for just a second here. Now it shows that SSH 1.99 has been enabled. So next we need to assign our remote access to our lines. We need to enable our VTY lines to accept SSH. So we go line VTY 0, 4. If it was a switch, we would go 0, 15. Since it's a router, we're at 0, 4. And then we go transport input SSH. Now that's if we want SSH only. However, my friend Gak is going to tell you the difference between telnet and SSH, so I want to add telnet. So I go telnet, and then to also access the router through SSH, we put SSH. We could put all here, but I just wanted to show you could put telnet and SSH. Enter. Now we have to have tell it that we need to access our username and password from the local database. So we need to put in login local. and then we exit. Next, I want to show what version of SSH we're going to use. So I'll type in at global configuration mode IP SSH version question mark. It shows 1 or 2. I'm going to use 2 because 2 is more secure than version 1. At this point, I will now set up our username and password that is required for our login local. So we're creating a user and password database. So we go in global configuration mode, we go username, which is, we're going to use Bruce because I like Bruce Lee. And then we're going to set our privilege mode. Let's go privilege. We're going to set it to 15 so we can go right into our privileged exec mode. And then we need the password. And we're going to use case study as our password. So now I'm finished configuring SSH on the router. What we will do now is see if it works. Now let's see if we can SSH to our router. I will bring in PuTTY. As you can see, I have chosen SSH. There is our IP address to our router. And let's press open. And as you see, there's the login screen. So our login password was Bruce. Our login was Bruce. And our password was case study. And as you can see, we are now into the router. So that's it for me. I will now hand you over to Gak, who will now show you the difference between telnet and SSH.
In this part of the presentation, my friend Gak is going to be showing us the difference between telnet and SSH by using wireshark.
Hi, my name is Gak. In this presentation, I'll use wireshark to capture and view the transmitted data of a telnet and SSH session on the router. If the telnet's client software packet is not installed on your PC, you must install one before continuing. You can either use Terratem or PuTTY, but in my case, I'm going to use the PuTTY configuration form to view the session, the telnet session or SSH session on the router. So let's begin with the telnet. You come here and select the telnet, then you identify the port, which is the port 23. Then you put the IP address, which is 192.168.16.1. Yeah. Then you make sure you are ready with capturing. Yeah. Then you start your capturing. Then come and open this. Put your password. Then your case study. Then show run. Then this is the show run. Then everything. Yeah. Everything, the data now. We are ready now with this data. And the same thing is what is happening with the wireshark. Now we can stop the wireshark, and then we go into this examining the wireshark, and we come under the telnet 3 TCP handshake. Then you select one here. Then you right click it on, and on the drop down arrow you follow the TCP stream. Then, and this is how it looks. Now, in this case, we can see a lot of things like the user access verification. The username is Bruce, is over here. The password is already the case study, we know it. And the rest of the configuration, for example, the interface is 01 with the IP address. You can see it's even visible. You can also see the configuration on the line BTY004, the login local, the transport input telnet. So everything is visible. So what do we say about this? It means that telnet, the data being shown on this session is unencrypted, is not encrypted. Therefore, this is why telnet is unsecured to be used on the security purposes. Now we can go ahead and see how the data on the router appear when using the SSH. Maybe it will appear different with this or not. Let's see. Yeah, the second step will use the SSH. In this case, you have to identify port 22 and you insert your IP address, which is 168.16.1. Then make sure your wireshark is ready too. So start capturing. Then you open this. Then you go to Bruce. Then case study. Then show something like this to make sure you are capturing some data. Now let's see what is going on with the wireshark. Now our wireshark is ready. So let's come here and see what is written, the SSH. And you can see over here SSH Vision 2. Come and right click and follow the TCP stream. Now you can see now what is going on here. Seems like everything is encrypted, and that is why we use the SSH. We choose the SSH as the secure one over telnet. And thank you.
Wow, guys, that was really great. Thanks a lot. Now let's have a look at what we did. So to start, we saw Neville configure telnet and SSH with a few basic commands, such as username, setting the password, the privilege level, and enabling local login. This assures added security as it requires a username and a password. And then we saw GAC Wireshark, and we learned a lot from that, didn't we? As you can see from GAC's Wireshark with telnet, telnet is not encrypted. This can be a problem because anybody with the time and the know-how can break into your system and just have a look at all of your configurations. Everything you send will be in plain text. It's important to note, telnet uses port 23 as well as TCP, as it's a connection-oriented protocol. Now we move on to SSH. As you can see from GAC's Wireshark, it is encrypted, which means it's not written in plain text, which makes it much more difficult for any unethical hackers to get into your system and steal your information, or change your configurations. You should definitely remember that SSH uses port 22, as well as it is also a connection-oriented protocol. So why use SSH? Well, it's simple, added security, as well as a little bit of convenience. You don't have to be in that noisy, cumbersome room full of equipment. You can do it from the comfort of your own office, knowing that all of your information is encrypted, so it will be secure. You'll be happy to know SSH prevents attacks via brute force or just plain old guessing. SSH stays encrypted the entire way,
not just during authentication. It is important to know, though, SSH is not a complete security solution. You're still susceptible to attacks via worms, viruses, trojans, or even the human factor, so you have to watch out. SSH is good because it requires authentication, so not just anybody can jump on your computer and use it. SSH can be used for a number of other things other than Cisco hardware. You can use it for things such as secure tunneling or file transfer. It's also important that you know that SSH is not a product, it's a protocol. So that about wraps it up. I want to thank everybody out there for your time and your attention, as I'm sure we learned a lot. I'd also like to thank Gak, Nivelle, and Katie for all their hard work in making this video possible. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great day.